perspective of the Holy See in spreading harmony and peace in the world.
Thank you. So, probably being my remarks more general and less specific, let's say, like a national presentation of national agenda that was presented also now in the Ambassador of Azerbaijan, I would certainly, probably I would make it my statement probably more free and more, how to say, direct to the public, exposing some considerations regarding the action of the Holy See and basically the inspiration that stays behind, let's say, many others. We are sharing, let's say, we are sharing with many other religious organizations. Absolutely, I'm thankful for mentioning me and considering me as a close friend, but I'm also an obvious participant at such an event. So if the title suggests that I have to be here, and I'm really very pleased, and I think it's really important that you promote and you invite me. What to say? If we are talking about religious dialogue, we know we are talking about mankind. It's not money, probably. Money is important. Power is important. But mankind is a mankind. Mankind is a life, history, tradition, thousands of years that's behind us, and thousands of years that's in front of us. It means responsibility is enormous. In the dialogue we usually have as a government organization, we speak about national interest, and we all know how important is that. We have to speak about concrete necessities and concrete ideas, and this must stay. If you ignore interest, you ignore everything, it means you just become irrelevant. But as a religious organization, we should stay exactly on the opposite side. We cannot speak about certain interests, although, interests are culture and so on, and there's always something personal to this, and it's useless to simplify things that are in itself much more complex, much more deep, philosophical, anthropological. But we have to first renounce on the vision of national interest. Otherwise, we are not going to contribute any positive thing for the international community, especially, let's say, within the United Nations, where, as Holy See representation and some other similar representation to us, we represent practically kind of specific human vocation and also religious vocation, and therefore, consequently, capacity to dialogue, to be in touch with the others that share, or they are also influenced or characterized by the same characteristics that we have, but from the different point of view, different cultural background, and different history. We should refer to the past as a very important resource, but we know that past is not always the answer for the future. So this is why we are here. We are inspired in a different way today. We have to renounce and forget certain things from the past that were somehow making human face or human face of the human history less elegant, less human. So we have to insist on this. We have to insist also on another thing, that when we see, we are looking what is going on today, we have to be really merciless in front of abuse of anything. The condemnation of any misbehavior or mistreatment must be, responsibility of religious organization. And this is what exactly, if you allow me, you will certainly have also, you have right to have a different point of view and share certain things with me and the other not. But this is somehow inspiring position of the Holy See as an institution that has established itself also within the United Nations in these many decades that we participate in. What to say, what we are doing? If you would ask me what we are doing, certainly we should give an answer, and probably today's meeting is here also to say what we are doing. I will simplify the answer because two certain points that certainly are strong for the 2017 for the activity of the Holy See. The first thing is importance of the subject of migration. Why we speak today so much about interfaith harmony and so on. Why? It was always a question there. Because we have migration. Without migration, without moving people around the world, we would not speak that much. Migration is in itself a much bigger phenomenon than just how to tackle and resolve the problem. It's a new meeting, new encounter among many things, certainly among tradition, cultural backgrounds, but also religious, heritage. So this is why we have to take migration seriously. The Pope, as you know, and the Holy See, I said, we stay strongly behind certain principles. First principle is that migration is the human face of globalization. Nobody wants to recognize this. All developed world is running trade surplus. So what does it mean? It is selling more, making money with the others. Some consequences must be paid. We cannot avoid to say what will happen. Someone will be poor because we are rich. And those poor will sooner or later be close to our door. And if they are going to offer us good services for low price, they will be welcome. Unfortunately, discriminated. But this is what the Holy See knows, Pope knows, because he's also an aspect of his personal histories linked to a similar destiny. Migration is a human face. The Holy See stays seriously behind that. The Holy See knows that every state has a legitimate right to regulate migration. Migration is not a free, event that can be done without rules and without laws. It must be done according to the rules and laws. But it must respect the fundamental vocation or fundamental characteristic of human history, that when we interact with each other in one domain, we will interact with each other with many other domains. Is this a big challenge? This is an enormous challenge. It wouldn't be that big, probably also in this, if we would not touch the rich world. All of a sudden, the rich world has a big voice and starts to shout, and we listen to it more clearly. But who is really participating in the world, who is sharing in this event is probably much more different. So we have here Ambassador of Jordania that really can say something what does mean sharing with the destiny of migrants and what does it mean even for existence and the functioning of the state. So it means the Holy See state considers migration as an important factor in the dialogue, which is also, has the aspect of interreligious or harmony on and interreligious dialogue. Second question that we could put, let's say some other questions also, is certainly desirable. We cannot ignore one thing, which Pope Francis says so eloquently. We are speaking against argument, but we are all making arms and trading arms and making big money out of arms. It is the biggest hypocrisy probably that is existing in our relations as an international organization. What to say? To simplify would be stupid. We all know that national interest again and national security is a major subject, and nobody can just simplify that with two words. But if we, as a religious organization, and anybody, any state, would not be also inspired, in a way, to come closer to a world that there is less weapon, and at least the desire to control weapon, or I don't know, so many aspects. It means if we would have a world more than that, and less rhetoric that are oriented to war and domination and so on, we would have a better world. We need, as a religious organization, we cannot refrain from participating in this dialogue. As you know, last year the Holy See was around the signature on the prohibition of not only how to say, proliferation, but also possession of nuclear arms. What are going to be the consequences? For us, the Holy See, I think, for many other religious organizations that are also dominant in your countries, this is a must. I think this is absolutely indispensable. Any other way of thinking is absolutely catastrophic. We are speaking about to be or not to be. There is a future of mankind if we have no war, and there is no future for mankind if we have. So there is not a middle, let's say, even how to say, to have a future that will be tremendously alterated and destroyed or changed by any conflict of out of proportion. What does it mean? Whether we ever thought that we would have such a future or not. So it means peace and disarmament is a main agenda of the Pope and the Holy See. The rest thing is a little bit more touchy, and you may agree and you may not agree with this. What we, for the inter-religious harmony, and kind of harmony that we're looking here, just a little bit out of all the standards we have only as a UN member state or participating in the UN system. So it means more generally speaking, being myself also a member of a church and also, how to say, a dignitary of the church. What we have to say? We have to say that we started today, we are in front of a very specific question that will stay probably for years to come, which is whether an organization, a government, can establish what is moral and what is not. This is a thing that is much deeper, as you know. It is practically goes together with the history of 20th century and probably the 19th century, where all of a sudden moral standards, which traditionally were somehow linked also to religious tradition or to some other traditional values that are not exactly expressible in the religious categories, that those moral values cannot be changed by vote. Today we have voting on anything. And certain aspects are for the Catholic Church unacceptable, probably also for the other religious organizations, but being we actually participating in the United Nations process, so we are probably more exposed. What to say? We have to say there is a certain problem that Pope considers as a cultural colonialism. That all of a sudden a big majority or everybody is somehow forced to accept new standards that are linked to the experience of rich and prosperous countries. We have to stay probably here, we have to share in terms of human rights, which are untouchable, and the progress that done is fantastic, and nobody can diminish that. But there's other things, you understand me, that I'm not talking about. I'm talking about specific prospect that can be problem for religious harmony, that certain, also probably international standards, or certain standards must be somehow stay linked or influenced also to traditional values and also probably the religious dimension. So this is what I wanted to say. We will stay with this, or there are many other things that could be said, but these are said exactly to illustrate a little bit the specificity of our participation in this movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You spoke very eloquently on the responsibilities and norms that we have towards mankind, and you shed light on the agenda of the Holy See and Pope Francis.